And there were many women before the war who'd opposed women getting the vote, and I think that shifted. I mean, it was something that did change, and I think it also changed for the working classes. Working classes got the vote as well, which they hadn't had. If you didn't have property, you didn't have a vote before the war. But not all the changes endured. I mean, women often lost their jobs when the men came back from the wars, and so it was 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
We're seeing now Prince Harry and the Duchess of Sussex, who have just arrived through the great west door of the Abbey ahead of this service, which is going to be starting in about just under 15 minutes' time, being greeted by the Dean of Westminster there. Prince Harry, who was here at the Cenotaph this morning and laid a wreath, and the Duchess of Sussex, expecting her first child next year. No doubt she would have been thinking about the American soldiers who took part, who arrived in the summer of 1918. There were 1 million strong, David, weren't they, by the time they came?
Well, the American army was projected to reach 3 million strong, and what would have happened in 1919 had Germany not capitulated would have been the full military power of an awakened America revealed to the world.
And Richard, looking at these images now, the service is going to get underway. This is the end of 4 years of commemorations. Prince Harry was at the first one at Saint-Symphorien in Belgium, as was his brother Prince William. What have you made of it? How much has it resonated, do you think, with people?
Very much so. I mean, me personally, it's been something I've done for 35 years, and I've loved the Great War. But why just I really feel the rupture here between us and that we're dead, and in a sense, this is our rupture with those.
Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, and Prince Harry and Prince William, who have taken part in so many of these events over the past 4 years. As I said, Prince Harry was at Saint-Symphorien in Belgium. Prince William was there as well with the Duchess of Cambridge in the cemetery, which was where the first and the last British soldiers to be killed in World War I were buried. They've been also to France in 2016. They were there to mark 100 years since the Battle of the Somme, and last year they travelled to Belgium as well to mark 100 years since the Battle of Passchendaele. And they're being greeted as they arrive in the Abbey. The Duchess, who herself lost 3 great-great-uncles during World War I. They have played a very big role, haven't they, the young royals?
They have. I mean, it's been remarkable. I saw them there on the Somme in 2016 and 17, and yeah, I mean, they just symbolise the nation's dedication and commemoration to all those who served, and not just the veterans themselves, but the wives, the children who suffered at that time. And I think they've conducted themselves remarkably well, and really made it such a poignant 4 years for us all.
And David, what do you think will happen after this? Because this is, as we say, the final act of remembrance of these last 4 years.
There have been lots of speculations since our culture of remembrance began about would it last? Would it last beyond the 1950s when the parents of the men who had fallen themselves died? Would it last beyond the 1990s when the last veterans passed away? There's been a lot of presumptions that it must eventually fade, and it very well might, but it doesn't feel like that at the moment. And I think you'd be very brave to say that this wouldn't be happening in 25 years or 50 years.
And there, as we watch Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge, Prince William speaking to Theresa May, who also, of course, at the Cenotaph this morning laying a wreath, and she too was in Saint-Symphorien on Friday at Westminster Abbey.
And you join us as the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall arrive. This morning the Prince of Wales laid the Queen's wreath on behalf of the nation, and he spoke to us about this and remarked that we owe an enormous debt of gratitude to those who gave literally everything for our tomorrow. He's greeted by the Dean of Westminster, the Very Reverend Dr. John Hall. And inside, the royal party will be greeted by the canons of the Abbey. The Reverend Jane Sinclair, Reverend Anthony Ball, the Receiver General, Sir Stephen Lamport, the High Bailiff, Sir Roy Strong, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, and the Prime Minister, Theresa May. And the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall will now await the arrival of the President of Germany, and after that, Her Majesty the Queen. The Prince of Wales and the German President will both read in today's service. Both from St. John. The German President will read in German. Followed very soon after by Her Majesty the Queen for the start of this special service of remembrance, 100 years to the day since the end of the Great War. And he's now greeted at the west door of the Abbey by the Dean. The President is himself the child of a war refugee, his first time attending a service of this kind. He is now welcomed by the Prince of Wales and the Duchess of Cornwall, and together they will await the arrival of Her Majesty the Queen. Prince Harry, who saw active service in Afghanistan in 2012, was the co-pilot of an Apache attack helicopter. And last month, he and the Duchess of Sussex visited Australia for the unveiling of a war memorial there to the Australians who died in the First World War. And at any moment now, Her Majesty the Queen will arrive at the Great West Gate and be greeted by the Dean. Queen's links to the Great War are deeply personal. Her father, the future King George VI, was a young naval officer at the Battle of Jutland, where 6,000 British servicemen died. And Her Majesty greeted by the President of Germany. In a few moments, they will together place flowers on the grave of the unknown warrior, and it is today surrounded by fresh flowers. Among them, rosemary for remembrance, purple heather for admiration, and ivy for eternal life.
Let us pray.
As the Father hath loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If ye keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments, and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another, as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends, if ye do whatsoever I command you. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you.
Has been the central theme today. We heard the Archbishop of Canterbury speak of the imperative not to hate or to pursue revenge. He said on this day we remember in order to act, and he said that if conflict had been transformed and enemies reconciled, there was hope for the world. In the prayers we heard an urging to remember all who serve the public good. Praise for people of conscience, those who strive for humanity.